of SF Zine Fest Cyberfest. So this is very exciting. We're super happy to have everybody here. We're streaming this live on Facebook and YouTube, and let's kick things off with. I'll get the slideshow here going. All right. All right. There, it's doing its thing. The letters are scrolling down. So, welcome to Group C of the show and tell. We're going to I'll run through the how tonight is going to how it's going to go to flow through the order of our events here. First, I'm going to give a quick introduction to SF Zine Fest and how things are different this year, if you don't already know. Then I'll go over the rules and expectations so that we ensure that everyone has a wonderful time this evening. We're going to do a breakout room session so that everybody can kind of get to know each other a little bit in smaller groups and break the ice. And then the bulk of tonight will be exhibitors presenting their work. And so each one of you is going to be able to just have 4 minutes to talk about your work as much as you want and tell us what you're all about. Then with the time remaining, we'll just be doing a little Q&A. If anything comes up from the live stream, I'll have some questions prepared, and then we can just close after that, after everybody shows their work and does their thing and gets to know each other. So SF Zine Fest was founded in 2001, and it's a gathering place for artists and writers from around the world, but especially in the Bay Area. It's typically held as a one-day event at the County Fair building in Golden Gate Park. Our 2019 festival had about 240 exhibitors and over 5,000 attendees, but this year, because of the global pandemic, the 2020 festival is going 100% virtual. So Cyberfest is what we're calling it, and it's 3 weeks of virtual programming rather than just one day of an event. It's comprised of events like this, the show and tells. We've also got workshops and readings and interviews and all kinds of things, all happening on Zoom and live streamed. And this year, because we've got 3 weeks, we wanted to do 3 guests of honor. So this is something that's exciting and different, and you know, just kind of take advantage of the format as much as we can. So our guests of honor this year are Alex L. Combs, Death P. Sun, and Tana Tucker, all fantastic artists. And each one of them is highlighted in each week that we're having here. So I'll read out our Safer Spaces policy, which everybody agrees to when they go to the in-person fest, and we're keeping it up here for Cyberfest. We are committed to providing a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion. We will not tolerate harassment at SF Zine Fest events in any form. Individuals violating the Safer Spaces policy may be sanctioned or expelled from the space or the event at the discretion of any SF Zine Fest organizer. So what this means is just to respect people's opinions, beliefs, and different states of being and points of view. Always get verbal consent before taking someone's photo or crossing personal boundaries. Be responsible for your actions and aware they may have an effect, regardless of how you intend them. And a safe and respectful community is everyone's responsibility, and we appreciate everybody adhering to it. Guidelines for Zoom, which I'm sure we're all well versed in it by now, but please, it doesn't seem like we have any problems, so we won't have to stick too much to this first rule of keeping your video off. But if we do have trouble with the video lagging or going pretty slow, then that might help. Please keep yourselves muted unless you're presenting. If you have a question, the chat is open, so go ahead and fire away there. It is moderated. As I said, you will have 4 minutes to share your work. Also, this is an additional rule just for tonight. We do have a volunteer captioner who is live captioning this. So please try to speak slowly and clearly and enunciate. And I am certainly trying to practice that myself, but man, it's difficult. But I'm sure you guys will do a much better job than I can. So you can use the chat to just communicate, compliment, to talk about each other's work, say hi, whatever you want. The ASL interpretation this year is provided by Nicole Watson and Aaron Webbs. And our volunteer captioner this evening is Lena. They're doing an amazing job, and we really appreciate their work. Be mindful of folks who are blind or visually impaired by being specific and descriptive when sharing your work. And this session is being recorded and broadcast to Facebook and YouTube. So, oh, I've lost my cursor. All right, there we go. Whew. All right, so you'll be asked to join a breakout room. And this is, as I said, just a small room where you can introduce yourselves, say hi to one another. You will have 4 minutes in the breakout room, and a prompt that I've prepared is, have you met anyone that you wouldn't have met if you didn't make zines? So it sounds like a bit of a riddle, but it's pretty simple question. It's just to get everybody talking about the community that they found through zine making, friendships, connections that you've made, anything like that. I have plenty of stories myself, so I'm sure all of you do as well about that. So without further ado, let's get everybody into breakout rooms here. Let's just end this. I'm just going to stop screen sharing so I can do that. Just a moment here. Lauren, are the breakout room, is it happening right now?
Everybody is in their breakout rooms now.
Okay, terrific. Okay, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm still going to keep talking for the live stream then, so that we don't have dead air. Okay, so I promised to read from some of my personal zine collection, and so I'll keep going until we stop when people start coming in. So this first one is a book called Bodega by Mike Lee, and it's one of your more sturdy, perfect bound, pretty snazzy zines. And I thought this one was super exciting because it is all black and white illustrations that are just absolutely beautiful. The way that the artist uses gradients and all this, and all of this is done in pencil. It's really incredible, the level of detail. It looks as if it's almost computer animated, but it's not. It's pencil drawings. So this story, it just takes place in it's a little city scene. You just see kind of the events around this corner shop throughout the day, and there's just different levels of light and different people passing through and different little things that are happening. So this is one of my favorites, and I always enjoy that one. I think I got that one at Alternative Press Expo. Oh, thanks for spotlighting me here. All right. Next up, I have one of Ben Passmore's zines. So this one seems to be a bit of an abstract, bit of a post-apocalyptic scene, but of course it has wonderful hand lettering and just a great use of black to really kind of get that good contrast. That's something that I kind of aspire to in my drawing is to make sure that I'm balancing everything well with enough enough to fill the page. It's a lot of, it looks like a lot of faces, kind of a character study. Haven't opened this one up in a little while, but yeah, his drawing style is always fantastic, and really cool to pick up a bunch of his stuff at the one of the last Actually, that was last year's Zine Fest when I got that one, I remember. This one is by Zine Fest lead organizer, Anand Vedawala. And this is about a amoeba infection, which sounds crazy, but and maybe not a good subject for a zine. At least I don't know that I could pull something like that off. But Anand, of course, does it in his inimitable style, illustrating it with this cute little version of himself and the amoeba, taking kind of a not so fun experience and making a very fun and enjoyable work out of it. So I see faces. I see that people are back from the breakout rooms. How was that for everyone? All right, I'm seeing thumbs. That's great. I love that. Well, I'll go back to the slide here and start sharing once more. Now that we've all become acquainted with ourselves, everybody can see my screen again? All right, awesome. All right. So what should you say when you're presenting? Please tell us your name and your pronouns. Tell us whether you're based in the Bay Area or further afield. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your work. And you're free to read from your work or just kind of give us an overview, whatever you want. This is going to be the presenting order. So we're gonna start with Allie Trigoso, and please correct me if I get anybody's name wrong. So Allie, I've got your slide up here, so please take it away.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I have my timer on. Sweet. Hi, I'm Allie Tragoso. I am not from the Bay Area. I currently live in Chicago, but I visited San Francisco like a year ago, and I went to Silver Sprocket, and it seems like you have like a really awesome community, and I would love to come to this fest in the future when it's running in person again. Let's see, about my work, a lot of it has to do with like body horror and sort of dealing with like personal issues through like a funny sort of gory way. So the image that I have up as my picture is from this book called Be Your Cake and Eat It Too. It's about this cake person who is like going through some rough stuff, realizes they don't have ingredients for a cake, and then makes one out of themselves. It is Riso printed. I love the process, very bright colors. It has a happy ending, spoilers. The cake person shares the cake with their friends. Some of the smaller format stuff I have is also Riso printed. This is like the first like zine that I made for real. So kind of also body horror. It's all about poutine, called Poutine Zine. I don't know, it's a fun one. This is one that I made for when I was in Berkeley, that time that I visited San Francisco. Got to take a little bit of time. It's about a woman not finding drinks that are like textured enough, so she eats like a glass smoothie. A little bit similar to the Poutine Zine. And then this I made for an animation fest that I went to in Canada. It is about, oh sorry, I should have said trigger warning. So this woman makes maple syrup from her boobs. She's like a made up Canadian myth. Sally Sugar Shack, and there's a poster on the inside. Whoop. Fun facts, fun Canadian jokes. I'm not Canadian, but be cool to get dual citizenship and that healthcare. And then this is the book that I have come out with most recently. So it's called Dog and Pony Baby Fever, and it's kind of about these two characters. I forgot to mention, or I don't remember if I did, I'm an animator. And so I made this in like a 3D animation software, but it's basically these people having relationship issues and dealing with them by like compulsive shopping, and it sort of takes over their lives. This is printed by Really Easy Press, which is located in oh my gosh, is it Seattle or Portland? I think it's Portland. And then this is kind of like a bonus thing. So I did a reading of that comic and I made a fun mask for it. And I figured in the last like minute that I have, I will show it to you. Ta-da! Can you see me? I feel like I can kind of see it.
Yeah, we see you. Oh my God, that's incredible.
Thanks. Ooh, I have 35 seconds left. Let's see, apart from making comics, which I love very much, a lot of the animation I do is very similar in terms of like content and like body horror. I like cute, gross, uncomfortable things. I do a lot of like hand-drawn animation mixed with stop motion and then some like live action pixelation, which is like using people as stop motion puppets. So yeah, I'm in grad school right now and I'm working on my thesis, which is a film involving all of those sorts of animation things I mentioned. But yeah, I love making comics and thanks for letting me talk to you guys.
Thanks so much. That was fantastic. And thank you, Allie, for timing yourself. That's not mandatory, but it certainly helps. I got a timer going too, so let's keep it moving to the next presenter. It's going to be Big Idea Comics. So when you're ready.
Hi, I'm Sean Marney. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm here in beautiful Smoky at the moment, San Francisco. I make a series of comic strips that I call Big Ideas Comics. And it all started with this one, Little Big Ideas. And they're a series of, they're like gag strips, the kinds of things that I read growing up. So there's not really repeated characters, but just random thoughts that I have. Little Big Ideas. There's the back. And I made a couple of zines this year that I want to share with you. One is Beard Champion, and this is about me. It's about having a beard, fears about having a beard, identity crises regarding your beard and considering shaving it. And it's in black and white. And it comes with authentic printed beard stubble. So something for you all to enjoy. And then my last one, this is my most recent one, and it's called Unpublished Comics. And it's basically just a bunch of comics that I found on my computer that I hadn't shared yet. And I said to myself, people should see these. People want to know about my comics that I haven't printed yet. And so I'm going to try something daring. I'm going to try a little screen share here to do a reading based on from my computer. So let's see if this works. If someone... Hopefully you're seeing that now. Okay, I'm gonna go forward as if people are seeing my screen. If you're not, holler. Okay, so this is from the cover. It says, Old George himself. That fangy devil. And this is me and the TV talking. Sean? Are you working on comics in there? Or are you watching Cloud Atlas? Comics? So this little mini comic is called Unpublished Comics, the Cloud Atlas volume. And I think I have time for another comic in here. This is just a couple of rainbows on clouds. Sire, we've lost many men today. It's time we show the humans what we're made of. Time for the attack of the rainbows. And then the rainbows are attacking. And the people are watching and they say, wow, look, it's beautiful. So yeah, you can find my things at bigideascomics.com. I think that's maybe my time. Okay, stop my share.
Sean, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the dynamic reading.
Yeah,
Awesome stuff. Well, great. So next up, we've got Dookie Zines.
Hi, my name is Sumiko Saulson. I'm with Dookie Zines. I use Z, here, and they, them pronouns. Dookie is a flying cat bat. You can, whoops, that's like a cartoon, me holding it, Dookie right there. And there's Dookie, a flying cat bat. Dookie is spontaneously generated from poop that was in a litter box, and the cat ate a gummy bat, and that's how he was generated, and that's just the story. Dookie Zines started out as these little tiny zines that are one piece of paper folded in half, and then I started making smaller and smaller zines with the little flying cat bats. But then about 2 years in, I started making another group of characters, Mousecavelli. Mousecavelli is an anthropomorphic family of mice. They are polyamorous, queer, and there's also kink in it. So there's kinky mice in it. And those are those are my two probably the favorite ones that people have. This is a stuffed like little stuffy of one of the characters, which is their kid, and his name is Death Angel, the Mouse Reaper. He is a necromancer. This is him when he was an even smaller little tiny baby. And this is his dad. His dad's name is Count Slackula. Count Slackula was brought back from the dead by his son, Death Angel. And Mousecavelli, the title character there, is a dominatrix. As you can see, she's got Patricio there. She's giving a little spanky spank to Patricio's bottom. And Patricio is a bottom, so that kind of goes together. There, Polly and Patricio has a boyfriend. This is his boyfriend and him. His boyfriend's name is Joe Squeaks. There's an entire Squeaks family, so this is actually Patricio, Mousecavelli, and Count Slackula together. In addition to those, I have other comics that I have put together. So this is Living a Lie. My mother actually wrote the story for this, and I illustrated it for her. So that is very close to my heart, and it is about a guy who is, I'm biracial. I'm half Black and half Jewish, and it's probably has something to do with why my mom did this, but this guy is was adopted, and he is part Black, but he's lying to people about his identity, and then he finds out that he has superpowers. So that's cool. My mom's writing about superpowers just like me. This is some art from something called Agrippa, which is another thing that I actually put together, which is a dystopic type of sci-fi story about a future that might remind you of this future a little bit too much, because the government goes bankrupt and then forces everyone to pay back student loans and welfare and stuff like that. But if they don't, then they go to debtor's prison and other horrible stuff. And you have to read that. I have a lot of different things that I put together, like little buttons and stuff like that for Dookie Zines and Mousecavelli. And thank you very much for coming to my presentation for Dookie Zines. Bye.
Thank you, Sumiko. That was fantastic. Love to see all that stuff. Very, very wide range of work. So really impressive. Next up, we've got Elzarth.
Hi.
Hi.
Can everyone see me?
Yes, take it
All
away.
right. Hi, I'm Elzarth. My pronouns are they, them. I'm from Alameda, California in the East Bay. And I have made a couple zines, and I'd love to show them to you. If you want any of my info, it's right up here. I am basically on all the social media as Elzarth. So my first zine, called Worshipful, is it is a zine about a guy who falls in love with a dead god and sort of the horror that comes from that. This was drawn during Inktember, because I didn't use 2 months for it. So it's supposed to be sort of spooky, sort of scary. But you know, it is a romance at its heart. Here's some pages from it. You know, there's some murder. And it's something that I really like. I've done it. I think I did this in 2016-ish. I just really love body horror. I love weird gods. If you don't mind slight nudity, I can show this page. There's no children in this, I hope. My second zine is I Do Not Own My Face. This is about robot identity. So it is about a robot that is that takes your orders at a fast food place, and sort of the existential like horror reality of that being your existence. You can't move, you're stuck here, you only have pre-recorded lines to talk out of, and like how do you conceptualize your own existence. So that sounds a little intellectual, but it's not that really. The first zine is 30 pages. This one is about 20, I believe. I based it on a lot of real robots and things that are happening right now. Like if you've been in Berkeley, then you've seen these ones over here delivering meals around. And if you've been to Japan, they often have this one around. So it's sort of psychological horror based on robots. I'm sort of a jack of all trades, so I make a lot of different things. So those are the 2 zines that I've made recently. They're both pretty long for zines, basically comic based. I also make little like postcards that I've been experimenting with shiny postcards. And I also make stickers. And the project that I've most recently been working on during all this COVID lockdown is I've been screen printing stuff in my basement, screen printing t-shirts. So this is one of the t-shirts that I made. And I made one like this. You can see I've sort of my beginning, so they're a little bit rough, but I sort of like that homemade DIY thing. A lot of the stuff I make is homemade. And all of my stuff is printed on 100% recycled paper because I am an environmentalist at heart. So I think that's all of my items. I'd like to show a couple more pages of Worshipful, if I can. This is sort of experimenting with the black and white. I really like using black and white. Actually, my current project besides the screen printing is that I'm finalizing a 100,000 word novel that is fully illustrated by me. And I'm doing the final edits on that and seeing where that goes. It's not close to release yet, but that is what I'm working on.
Just a 30-second warning.
All right. So I just like everyone to know my Elzarth. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my store is Elzarth. That's .storenvy.com. And I have, like I said, a whole bunch of different things because I love to experiment. I love to do runs of certain items. I like to have fun. And if you want any of my zines, you can find them there. I also have a 2-pack if you want them together. And yes, I concede my time.
Yes, Elzarth, thanks so much. That ended perfectly on time. So yeah, awesome stuff. So before we go to the next presenter, just want to put it out there to please turn off your video if you're not presenting, just because we are experiencing little video issues. So that really helps. So just make sure that your video is off and you're muted, and then we can keep rolling here. So next presenter is going to be Kaylynn Kim. So Kaylynn, when you are ready.
Hi, I'm
Go
Kaylynn.
ahead.
I'm I'm an illustrator, and my pronouns are she and they, and I live in LA. Yeah, so with some of my zines, I have 3 of them that I wanted to present. My first one is called The Ebb and Flow, and so this was kind of one of the first comics I've made seriously, but it's a comic about depression and kind of like repressed sadness, and it was very cathartic for me to make. But I really enjoyed making this one, and I think a running theme that goes throughout my work is just kind of very emotional work, kind of psychological as well. And so my second zine is called I Dumped My Therapist, I'm Having a Panic Attack, and I Really Need to Cut My Fucking Hair. And so this is something I made around last year based around a series of unfortunate events that happened to me. But I had a really good time writing this and illustrating it. And it's kind of about like beginnings and endings of relationships with people, with myself, talking about like change and growth. But I'm really proud of this one. Yeah. And so, yeah. And a third zine that I have is for a project that I did about the Korean spa. And I did a series of illustrations, but I kind of wanted to take the viewer who maybe who hasn't been to a Korean spa before and give them like a full experience. And so this is the first page. This is the front and back. And then it opens up to this powder room. And opens up to this door, and when you open it up, it's the sauna. And so I kind of wanted to make it feel like you're really going through it. But yeah, these are my zines. I'm new to the Zine Fest experience, but I'm excited to be here.
Great, we're happy to have you here. You got some great work for someone who's new.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So terrific. We'll take it to the next reader. It's going to be MystoPress.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Natalia Lopez, and I run MystoPress, a very micro press. It's just me and my sister for now. And I'm also an illustrator and comic artist. I'm pretty new to zines. I actually just finished my first one not too long ago. It got printed in May. So it launched during quarantine on Kickstarter, and somehow people liked it enough that it got funded. And it's called The Chilling Wind of Rage Rattles My Bones. It is a nightmare themed poetry and art zine. So those of you who like body horror, I do a lot of eerie, creepy work. So my sister was the one who wrote these poems, and what was cool is that she always wanted to be creative, but like never knew that she was good at writing poetry. She just would write stuff, and so I saw some of her work and was like, we need to do some sort of zine together. So I illustrated her poetry and tried to make each page kind of a unique sort of experience. And I also got into actually publishing comics. So this is Paroxysm, which is the first volume of an independent horror anthology I did with a bunch of other independent artists and writers, including my sister, who wrote her first poem that got published here. So, and for this, I made a comic called The Black Rabbit, which is about a vampire serial killer. And it's sort of a crime horror story. And I'm really proud of it, mostly because it's the first sort of, comic I actually published, and it is black and white, since I tend to feel like I'm pretty new to experimenting with color. But I'm working on a second volume to launch on Kickstarter actually this October. So I'm kind of staring at my tablet screen that has the inks for this next comic I need to finish pretty soon. I'd like to share, because I also sell digital comics, so downloadable PDFs, and because I'm still trying to gather funds to print the smaller mini comics that I make. So I'm not sure if this will work, but I'll try and share my screen so you guys can see. So this is a short comic I just recently finished a few months ago called I Thought I Saw a Deer Last Night. Let's see if you can see it. So it's the cover, and it's about a guy who nearly runs over a supposed deer in the middle of the night and ends up following it into the woods. And scary things happen. I was getting into witches and cults and just like researching covens. And so I ended up kind of being into that sort of mindset when I made this. So I'm really proud of it because, again, it's like a short horror piece that I managed to finish in maybe 2-3 months. So I'm just on a roll trying to make more horror comics since that's sort of my genre. I would like to get more zines done. So my sister and I, would like to do a different theme for a new poetry zine. And I would love to do, other sort of dream related and horror related content. So yeah, you can find all of my work at MystoPress.com and MystoPress.com/store, where I sell these comics also in digital form. So you don't have to wait for anything to arrive in the mail if you don't want to. I also sell stickers. This one I also made during quarantine, says "Forget Me Not." And I've been urging people to stick them in on their cars just to kind of spread the word to keep wearing your face masks. And I also sell art prints, so lots of really creepy stuff. I like botanical horror. Body horror is kind of my theme lately, so I've just been kind of riding that wave. Yeah, so that's my work, and thank you for having me, and thanks for letting me share.
Terrific. Well, yeah, I think as has been pointed out in the chat, I think we're all realizing that tonight is the body horror show and tell night, which is fantastic. So Lauren, let us know if you actually did curate that on purpose, and whether it was on purpose or by accident. It's working out fantastic. We're getting some great stuff here. So let's take it to the next reader. It's going to be Phantom Electric Comics.
Hello. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Take it away.
Excellent. I am going to try to make this possible. Can you see what I am seeing?
Yes.
Excellent. Hello, we are Phantom Electric Comics. We are world's most dangerous comics. I am Mr. Phantoms, and I am a supervillain. What we are comic people who make comics and not make doomsday devices like those liars of liars who are lying about us. We also are not into kidnapping scientists to build them. Those are all fabrications made by the same people who are in cahoots with the liars. We have also not weaponized solar system with those very doomsday devices. Our extent is within legal bounds of local municipal laws. We have paperwork. We have proof at phantomelectric.com with a K We have episodes of comics that would use money to keep alive. The one artist we forced to make it work handcuffed, beaten by clone of Eisner and Bob Kane. We are unsure if they can survive another table leg beating. Money will keep them alive. Comic is free for you as proof that we are not an otherworldly syndicate of villains operating in higher dimensional warfare against another dimensional crime bosses. We are also very human. Again, we have proof. I will now show you our comic, Love is a Dead Place. Episodes can be found at site here. Space and space stuff, as you can see, very telling of your future. Oh no, look, it's the Chekhov maneuver. Now you throw through book, la-di-da, exciting story happening before your eyes. All these can be found episodically on the website that was mentioned earlier with the proof that I gave you. Yes, it's also in future. It's sci-fi soap opera. You'll like it because you like dystopian lifestyle. Welcome to Apocalypse. I hope you enjoy. As you can see, interesting events are happening. Everyone's having good time. Yes, espionage and complex storytellings. You like cosmic sci-fi for the people. Here's proof we are comic makers and not legion of super criminals from across multi-brain space against galaxy-spanning multi-beings. Please visit and donate money to keep alive mankind's only line of defense against imaginative parasitical rat demons. All praise the legal counsel of the celestial law offices of Cosmic Death Monkey. We are brought to our sponsors. I'll bring out the guillotine. They are very good at cleaning guillotines. Thank you and enjoy your time. Enjoy your apocalypse. To be continued. Thank yous.
Thank you. We're all convinced now. So I appreciate the work and love the mask.
Thank you. I am very human like you. Please accept a proof.
All right, we're going to move on to the next reader. It's going to be Sarah Maloney. So Sarah, when you're ready.
All right, hello. Well, that was my first time meeting a supervillain, so that was cool. Didn't expect that. So my name is Sarah. I use she, her pronouns. I was living in Seattle for a while, and a few days just moved to Oakland, so thank you for having me. So I don't have all my stuff usually, but I make zines, and right now I'm working on a cosmic queer love story, and it actually does have some body horror too, because someone falls through a black hole, and that's the first start. The reason I moved down here is because I'm attending CCA, so I'm starting grad school, and that's exciting. So I'll just show you maybe some of the most recent works. So yeah, this is the first in the series, and I just try to take laws of physics sort of and use that to guide my story structure and sort of themes, because I think a lot of it can be relatable, or fun. Yeah, thank you for looking. So yeah, in the first one of the characters, their spaceship blows up. One of the characters, sorry, body horror. One of the character falls through a black hole, gets crunched, and that's where we leave off. But that's the beginning of the story. And then issue 2 is the vulture snails of Planet X. And then this follows some snails that are on the planet where the lover fell and is crumpled, and they're just trying to feed their little snail family. Yeah, and I also, I love risograph, and this is me trying to sort of learn how to start using color because I mostly have done line work. And I'm working on issue 3 and 4 right now. Let's see here. I also make stickers. I don't know if you can see any of these. Let's see. I did a lot of nature is queer, and I'm hoping to turn that into a zine too. It'll be a collaboration with a friend. Let's see here. Artsy fartsy. I don't know. I use this character a lot in my stories. Let's see here. Yeah, if you want, you can follow me. I made the sign at Maloney Doodles. And if anyone's watching, you can send me $15 and I'll send you a zine and a sticker and maybe some other stuff. Just say it, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And that was a great sign of your all of your links and stuff. Very well done. Let's go. So it's appropriate that our last presenter had snails in their work, because next up it's going to be Snail Rat. So whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Hi, I'm Annie. I use she, her pronouns, and I publish zines under the name Snail Rat. I've been making zines since 2016. I am from San Francisco, but currently live in Brooklyn. But that summer of 2016, I was enrolled in a book arts class in San Francisco, and we had a final project that was due, and we had to make an edition of like 20 of the same book for the final project. And I also happened to be working at the Minnesota Street Project that summer, where there's the annual art book fair. And before then, I had heard a little bit about zines. Like, I had a couple of friends that were making them, but I really wasn't sure what they were all about. And after that weekend, I was just like blown away with all the different ways that you can self-publish. And after the weekend, I still wasn't really sure like what is a zine, but I was like, wow, I have to start making zines. I have to make many zines. And not only that, but I just like need to find out everything about zines. So I did make my very first zine for that final project for the book arts class. I did a little hand stitch binding, hence the book arts. I did pass the class. And I just like fell in love with it as a way to turn all my drawings and photographs and writing into something that I could put out into the world without the internet, or like without really needing to rely on anyone else. So since then, I've been making a lot of zines. I mostly make these little guys, which I would qualify as her zines. They all have like drawings and poems, just like little line drawings, little scraps of poetry. Some of them I make that are comic-based, more comic-based. I try to work a rat or two into every zine because I am a fan of rats. And I have a zine that's an origin story of Snail Rat, if you're curious about what Snail Rat is or who Snail Rat is. Anyway, I was making zines and still like not really sure what zines were, even though I was having my life making them. And I was still in school here in New York, and I decided to do my undergrad thesis on zine making. So I made this zine, which is full of interviews and essays all about zines. Basically, I just like skulked around every zine archive I could find, all the zine events, every shop that sold zines, and then got in touch with a lot of people who make zines that I admire and interviewed them. And I spent like a year asking the question to other people and myself, what is a zine? And at the end of the year, the answer still, there is no one true answer for what is a zine, which is the best part of it, which is why I love zines, because they are personal and political and genre defying. So much fun. So I forgot to start my timer. I'm not really sure how much time I have left, but I just put out this zine, and that's new. Also, I am still hoping to, like, my dreamiest of dreams is to make another edition of this, and we have all these lovely zine makers here right now. So if anyone wants to hit me up on Instagram, I'll put it in the chat. I would love to just like hear your thoughts about what is a zine. What is a zine? Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. So now to close this out, following Snail Rat, we have Tomatobird.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, awesome. I'm Taylor, otherwise known as Tomatobird, and I make a lot of comics and zines that are usually based around like biblical or religious mythology with sort of my own twist on them. And I think my most well-known zine that I kind of got started with a couple years ago after I graduated is Gloria. And this is one I made because I always wanted to see kind of like illustrations of angels that weren't, the traditional kinds and kind of more of an abstract variety. So I kind of was the story of this is just kind of like depictions of angels from their own point of view and how they find humans just very intriguing but kind of hard to understand. So, and all the kind of the imagery is taken from various like biblical stories, but from that kind of uncanny perspective and such. So I had a lot of fun working with that imagery a lot, and I think that carried on into my other work a lot. So this is all just line work, and yeah, I did post this on Tumblr. That's kind of originally how I shared it with people, and so a lot of it kind of my work kind of has that has a kind of surreal look to it. This is another work called Behold, which I kind of made because I was thinking about like depictions of apocalypse in media, and how it's interesting how there's always like conflicting ideas of what the end of the world would be like either it's something that's destructive or it's something that we can imagine involves like rebuilding or just sort of a new start sort of thing. It's very ambiguous and kind of something I've always been kind of interested in that sense. And yes, I don't know if I'm moving too fast or whatever. One of the recent works from last year, I actually debuted this at last year's Zine Fest, this is The Wanderer, and this is one I made last year, and it's kind of the one that's more of a straightforward traditional comic story. And it's kind of inspired by the apocryphal tale of like the descent of Christ into hell from the perspective of like a death angel who kind of leads him and talks about her experiences and such. And it kind of goes into like the mythology of hell mouths, and there's a little bit of body horror in it too to stay on brand with tonight. And and it's just kind of talking about the kind of like the idea of death, and I guess my personal interpretation of like relationship and body horror warning and such, and resurrection, what that means in like a relational context, and in this, which is something I always find interesting. And that's, I think the last one I want to show, this is less a comic and more just a mini zine I printed on a single paper. And this is Anastasis Uprising, and it's kind of inspired a little bit of writings on art history with some illustrations by me, and it's a bit about examples of transcending gender binary in the Bible. And so I write about kind of the artistic depiction of the mandorla, which you can see here, and I used on my front, which is kind of a symbol of the overlapping of circles, and is a symbol of like where heaven and earth meet. And it's kind of an in-between place that isn't quite like it represents something that isn't necessarily in the physical world, but is very conceptual, and I think it's a really interesting way. And I talk about that as well as like queer readings of like some of various art and kind of saint legends and things. And yeah, this is sort of all of my zines are available on, I think, my store, on my Store Envy links that I've been here, and I also have a Gumroad, which I guess I don't remember if I linked it there, but where you can get them digitally, and they're also free to. Most of them are free to read on my site as well. So sorry, but thank you for all looking at my stuff, and it's been great to see all of your work as well. It's really cool.
All right, awesome. Yeah, well, thank you. That is unique, and we love it. Love to see all this stuff. This has been a really strong group. I'm just so impressed. We only have a couple more minutes before we close out, but I feel like if everybody from this pretty well. So with that in mind, I just want to, with so many kind of body horror people, just ask, what are some of your favorite horror movies? And anybody can just feel free to chime in.
The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. And definitely Alien.
Yes, two of my favorites as well.
Yes.
You all seen Society?
No, what's that one?
Oh, it's so good. It's like a late 80s. I think it came out in 87. It's like critical of like high society and like LA like upper class people. And there's like a lot of really weird body horror. And like the special effects are all like done like analog, like they're not digital. Like it's really freaky and strange, but amazing.
That sounds amazing.
It's
Really
so good. I think it's on Amazon Prime Video. I don't know.
Okay, does anybody know any horror movies that aren't so scary, but more just kind of spooky?
Well, I love Only Lovers Left Alive. If you like vampires, but not a whole lot of blood and a lot
Is that
of
Jim
introspection. Yes, that's Jim Jarmusch.
Okay, nice.
I love it. It's one of my favorite vampire films. I mean, obviously that and Bram Stoker's Dracula and Interview with the Vampire, but that's definitely a lot more of like the romanticized, extra sort of vampire stuff. But yeah, Only Lovers Left Alive is very down to earth.
Okay, we're getting in the chat showing that showing some Junji Ito love, which totally makes sense for this group. Absolutely. Great. I wish we could continue talking about all that stuff, but we do have to wrap it up. And I'm going to just present a couple of our last slides here. I'm just going to share screen one more time. Just a moment here. All right. So yeah, just here's all of the links to everybody. Move that out of the way. So you know, if you just take a screenshot of this page right here, if you want to just, you know, one last chance to get everybody information. All support and these great zines that we've been hearing about and seeing tonight. Our upcoming event tomorrow, Wednesday, it is an invite-only event, but if you've been invited to it, it's the book binding for teens, or no, nobody's teen here. That's going to be just the teen event, but that's co-hosted with the San Francisco Center for the Book, which are an amazing group, which I think have been already referenced once tonight, I believe. And Thursday is going to be our Thinking Captions read, guest of honor Alex Combs. So don't miss that. That's always a highlight of the in-person fest, is when we do that every year. So now it's going to be through 3 chances to tune in for the Thinking Captions zine reading from the guest of honor. And then on Friday, it's going to be another show and tell. So tune in for that and see great exhibitors that are going to come through for show and tell on Friday. And just a plug for the week 1 festival merch. We have merchandise from Support SF Zine Fest. We were able to put this on this Cyber Fest this year because of savings from last year. Fest had, you know, some money left over from last year's fest, but this year we're not collecting any table fees. So it's, you know, if we're going to have a Zine Fest next year, we're going to have to, you know, get a lot of sale merch to be able to cover our expenses next year. So we really appreciate the support, and you get some great merchandise out of it. We've made sure to really broaden the offering, and Alex has some amazing work with post retail prints and then those die cut stickers. So that concluding your work, it's so amazing, and look forward to hearing more of you, all of you, in the future. So good night, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you